Welcome to part 2 of the Brown Family DVD. Did you enjoy the first part of scenes from 1967 and 1968? I invite you to play part 2 of more scenes of memorable family experiences, starting with Ellen's original concept of a pre-nursery school written in 1969 and now read by her mother, Fran Brown. Ellen's creative work will be followed by selections from the Bar Mitzvah of Mark, Bat Mitzvah of Karen, and Stephen's Bar Mitzvah. Come on, and let's listen to Ellen's own words.
Pre-nursery school, written by Ellen, age 11 and a half. Dear parents, I understand that you have a 3-year-older at home that doesn't go to a nursery school as of now. I am offering a pre-nursery class. It will not be every day, but every couple of days or every week, at least once a week. It will give me great pleasure to teach and have fun with your child. After 4 lessons, a report card will be given to show progress of the last 4 lessons. Fun homework will be given in certain subjects. If she passes in a good or exceptionally good paper, a sticker will be given as a little prize. The class includes spelling, the ABCs, her full name, spelling of simple words, and more. Art and drawing, designing pictures and collages and objects for the coming holiday and for fun. Learning about colors, such as mixing colors. Holidays, learning about the coming holiday and doing things for it. Religion and prayers, learning about prayers and how to recite them. Math, to count or write numbers and to add small numbers. Of course, we will need supplies and materials, colored paper, crayons, glue, and maybe books or records. So, if you decide to join, please fill in registration slip, 75 cents for the cost of materials. Your child must be 3 years to 4 years. Thank you, Ellen Brown.
Mark's Bar Mitzvah on May 6, 1972. Mark became a Bar Mitzvah at Temple Shalom, Salem. Because picture taking in the synagogue was not permitted, the movies you see were taken at our home to celebrate Mark's Bar Mitzvah during the evening following his Bar Mitzvah. Mark was called to the Torah to read the portion of the Torah entitled Bahar, meaning on Mount Sinai. His reading described the Jubilee, or 50th year, which was proclaimed with the blasts of the shofar. Here is a movie of Mark blowing the shofar on the high holidays at Temple Shalom, which he continued to do for many, many years. In order of appearance, Mark's guests included Aunt Mira, Uncle Eddie, and Cousin Alvin Ruthenberg, grandparents Sylvia and David Novetsky, Nanny and Papa, Aunt Gail and Sam Novetsky, Aunt Phyllis and Uncle Moshe Novetsky, Uncle Avi, Uncle Don Mendelson, Cousin Murray Goldsmith and his wife, Toasting Mark, friends Wilbur and Anita Silverman, Aunt Linda, Aunt Ina, Karen, Stephen, Cousin Scott Rosenthal, Grandma Elizabeth, Mark, the bar mitzvah young man, friend Charlotte Duke, Ellen, Brad Curlin playing the accordion, Sheba, Cousin Joey, friend Louis Duke, Auntie Rose, Uncle Larry Rosenthal, Cousin Keith Rosenthal. Mark's Torah reading of Bahar on Mount Sinai was followed up by actually visiting the famous mountain 7 years after his bar mitzvah, which he photographed. Each summer, the Browns would motor to Detroit and Chicago to visit our families. However, the summer of 1977 would be different. While Ellen was working with Nanny in Detroit selling women's clothes, it was decided to take our very first family vacation on the Labor Day weekend. So following the harvest in the Brown backyard garden, Mark, Karen, Stephen, and parents hopped into the family station wagon and drove to New Hampshire. There we hiked Devil's Turnpike and Polar Caves, and we saw the breathtaking Flume and the Man in the Mountain. Overnight, we stayed at a motel in White River Junction, Vermont, and had a delightful swim. On the following day, we traveled to Bath, which is the covered bridge capital of New England, where we stopped to photograph a covered bridge built in 1832. On to the Cannon Mountain Tram in Franconia Notch, New Hampshire. Stephen had a ball riding bumper cars, meeting a new friend, sliding down a steep slide, and eating pizza, still one of Steve's favorite foods today.
Baruch Adonai Habarach.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu
Karen's bat mitzvah
Asher bachar banu mikol
on May 20th, 1978. Our daughter Karen became a bat mitzvah at the age of 13 at Temple Shalom. She chanted the blessings over the Torah and also the weekly portion of the Torah entitled Emor, meaning speak. Moses was instructed to speak to the priests and outline their duties. Karen then chanted the blessings over the Haftarah, and the Haftarah taken from the book of the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 44.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
The Haftarah for today, for the portion of Emor, begins on page 528. We now call upon our Bat Mitzvah celebrant, Karen Brown, to chant the Haftarah for the portion Emor.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim ratzav divreihem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai.
Following Karen's bat mitzvah, we had a celebration at home. The guests who came to the celebration were the following:
ושמרו את משמרת מקדשי ביצת בני ישראל.
Nanny came from Detroit. Nana, Grandma Elizabeth, came from Chicago. Auntie Rose came from Chicago.
יבואו מקדשי בהמה יקרבו על שולחני לשרתני ושמרו את משמרתי והיה בבואם אל שערי החציר הפנימי בגדי פשתים ילבשו ולא יעלה עליהם זמר בשרתם בשערי החציר הפנימי בביתה
Salem, Massachusetts, who officiated at Karen's bat mitzvah, is having a conversation with Mark.
החציר החיצונה אל העם יפשטו את בגדיהם אשיר המה משרתים בם הניחו אותם לשחוט הקודש ולבשו בגדים אחרים לא יקדשו את העם בבגדיהם ראשם לא יגלחו ופרה לו ישלחו החום יחסמו את ראשיהם ויין לא ישתו כל כהן בבואם אל החציר הפנימי ימנה וגרושה לא יקחו להם לנשים כי אם בתולות מזרע בית ישראל ימנה אשר תהיה אמנה וכהן
From
יקחו
Maryland.
בין ירו וקדש לכל ובין טמא לטהור ידיעו ואבי המה יעמדו למשפט משפטי ישפטו בתורתי וחוקותי חומותי ישמורו ושבתותי יקדשו
And cousin Keith
יעמד אדם
and Aunt
ויבוא
Ina
תמה
from Illinois.
לאב ולאם ובן ובת לאחות אשר הייתה לאיש יטמאו ואחרי טהרתו 7 ימים יספרו לו וביום באוהל הקודש אל החציר הפנימי לשרת בקודש יקריב חטאתו
Here is
נאום
Uncle
אדוני
Larry
אלוהים
coming from Illinois.
והייתה לכם לנחלה אני נחלתם באחוזה ותיתנו להם בישראל אני אחוזתם והמנחה והחטאת בהשם המה יאכלו
At the
כל
dining
כבן
room
בישראל
table,
להם יהיה
we find Stephen
ראשית כל ביקורי
Aunt
כל
Linda from
וכל
Detroit,
כל מכל
Aunt Ina,
תורתכם
and Uncle Larry.
בראשית ארוסתכם תיתנו לכהן להניח ברכה אל ביתך כל ולא טרפה מן העוף ומן הבהמה
This
לא יאכלו
we see the
הכהנים
bat mitzvah
ברוך
Karen.
אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך
Sitting at the
העולם
dining
צור
room
כל
table,
העולמים
together
צדיק
with
בכל
Sister
הדורות האל הנאמן
friend Sharon,
המרים יוסף
and
המדבר ומקיים שכל דבריו אמת וצדק נאמן אתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו הנאמנים דבריך ודברך מברך
picture,
הכל לא ישובך
we see
כי
Aunt
המלך
Linda
נאמן ורחמן אתה ברוך
and
אתה אדוני
Aunt Ina, Brother
האל
Mark,
הנאמן בכל דבריו
Grandma Elizabeth,
רחם על ציון
Auntie Rose.
כי היא בית חיינו לעלובת נפש תושיע במהרה בימינו ברוך אתה אדוני ושמח ציון בבניה.
Now see
שמחנו אדוני אלוהינו,
enjoying
ואליהו הנביא
herself
עבדך,
at the
ומלכות
bat
בית אבי
mitzvah
משיחך,
celebration.
במהרה יבוא ויגל ליבנו, על כיסו לא ישב זה, ולא ינחלו עוד, ואחרים את כבודו, כי בשם קודשך
In this
נשבעת
picture,
לו, שלא
you
יחפה
see
נרו
friend
לעולם
Sharon
ועד, ברוך אתה
conversing
אדוני,
with Brother Mark
מגן את
and
דוד.
Cousin Keith from Illinois.
התורה ואל העבודה ואל הנביאים ואל יום השבת הזה שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו לקדושה ולמנוחה לכבוד ולתפארת על הכל אדוני אלוהינו אנחנו מודים
is
לך
talking to
וברכים
Brother
אותך
Stephen
יברך שמך בפי כל
Aunt
חי
Linda.
תמיד לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך שמו.
קדש השבת. My God and God of my fathers, as I symbolically cross the boundary between childhood and adolescence, I humbly thank you for all you have done for me. I thank you for the gift of life, for the power to grow in body and in spirit, for the ability to widen my knowledge and deepen my understanding, for increasing capability to discriminate between good and bad, between right and wrong. I thank you especially for the loving care of my parents, who in partnership with you have helped me reach this day. Help me, O
enjoying
God, to be
each
worthy
other's
always
company
of your precious gifts. Grant me the strength in the
Uncle
will to
Larry
do what is right in your sight
and
and to resist any
Brother
evil
Mark.
temptation. May I live in such a way as to bring honor upon myself, my parents, my community, and my people, and be worthy of your love and protection.
Amen.
It is an eerie feeling to stand on the bima today, look down at Mark, and say I remember him when he was still in elementary school, Ellen, still in elementary school, Stevie,
arriving
well,
from
Stevie and
Long
Karen, really.
Island,
They
New
were put in the
York.
back seat of the station wagon when Mother had to bring children to and from
Uncle
school.
Eddie
But the relationship
and
goes back
Aunt
over
Mira
10 years.
Ruthenberg.
And today, to see the next to the youngest standing on the bima, proclaiming that she is reaching the age of maturity, the age of reason, the age of responsibility,
Nanny
that Karen
is
no
enjoying
longer
a
has to
conversation
give her parents the
with
credit for
friend
going to day school,
Charlotte Duke.
Hebrew school, youth congregation, but now she receives those virtues on her own. And hopefully, today is only a beginning, not an end. Whereas in the past, she came when she had to come. Starting today, she'll come
Nanny
whenever she is able
and
to come.
friend Louis
That makes a
Duke
big difference.
seem
Karen
to be
is a
having
very
a good
unique
time.
young lady. Very unique. Every boy and every girl preparing for a bar bat mitzvah has a very special siddur. It's given to them when they first start Hebrew school. They sometimes open it at home and say a few prayers. But then comes the big moment. As they're entering the age of 12, they start
Sister
receiving
Ellen
lessons from Cantor
poses
Ackerman.
for a
And
picture.
they take this magic siddur with them. And with his big pencil, he marks lines that say, pause, slow, louder, clearer. He underlines certain syllables. And Karen was no different. She also brought her siddur with her. And then, the last 2 or 3 weeks before the bat mitzvah, the student leads the
We
service
see
in the chapel,
Aunt Ina
the adult
and
service, the regular
Fran's
Shabbos morning
neighbor
minyan.
Eleanor Miller.
And Karen was no different. She came Shabbos morning. She was ready. Her friends, the youth congregation, came in to sing the responses, to participate in the service with her. And lo and behold, when she went up to the bima, not the siddur
Having a
from which she was
conversation
trained,
Are Eleanor
not the
Miller
siddur that she uses every Shabbat
Aunt
morning in
Ina,
the youth congregation, another one
Nanny,
with which she is very familiar.
and friend
But Karen
Sid Harris.
took the regular, what we call the Birnbaum, the blue siddur that we use in the adult service. And she opened it to the right page. And she went through the service just as if this had been the siddur from which she was practicing. No marks that said slow or louder
Scanning
or
the
emphasize
one
this.
item.
No pauses
Our
were
brother
recorded.
Stephen
And that is
and
unique.
cousin Scott.
And it reflects an upbringing. A girl who went to a Hebrew day school, who is continuing now Hebrew College Pro
In the
Store.
foreground
who has parents
Grandma
who are both
Elizabeth
highly Hebrew educated,
and Auntie Rose.
a mother who is
And
certified to be a
in the
Hebrew teacher,
background,
a
we
father
see
who
Nana
before going
on
into
the
general
telephone.
education, educational psychology, was also a principal of a Hebrew school for a number of years, a brother who teaches while he's in college, a sister who has a good background, and a little brother who's graduating from a regular Hebrew school, although he's only 11 when the rest of his classmates are just going on
Cousins
11.
Scott
Did he make it yet?
and brother Stephen.
Yeah, he just made
seem
11.
to be
Where the rest of the
fooling around.
classmates are 12 and a half, going on 13. So there is good Hebrew education in that family.
Here
When
is
Karen
the
went up on the
certificate
bimah in the
of Bat
chapel
Mitzvah
and led the
presented
service
by
from
Temple
what I call an
Shalom
alien
of Salem
siddur,
to
one
Karen
she had not
Amy
used
Brown,
previously.
who,
It shows how
having
familiar she
completed
is
the
with the service.
required
It comes
studies,
naturally to
was
her.
duly
So Karen,
inducted
if for nothing
as a
else,
Bat
for that we're
Mitzvah.
also very proud. Karen continues the repetition of the Musaf beginning in our Sidurim on page number 137. We turn back to page 137 and we follow Karen as she chants the Musaf service.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu Elokei Abraham Elokei Yitzchak v'Elokei Yaakov Ha'el Hagadol Hagibur v'Hanora El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol Zokei Chesdei Avot U'Mevi Goel Livnei B'neihem L'man Shmo V'Ava Melech Ozim L'Shir Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Abraham
Amen.
Atagi B'Olam Mechayim Eitim Atah Rabu Hashia Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed Mechayim Eitim Rachamim Rabim Somech Melchim V'Rafeh Cholim U'Matiyah Surim Mechayim Nulato L'Shenei Yachbar B'Chamo Chabal G'Murat U'Mi Yidom Elach Melch Memit U'Chayim Atzmiach Shua V'Nemanatah L'Chayot Mitim Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh HaMeitim
Initials. Here is
Mr. Ravi Novetsky answer.
on Saturday, November
ברכות אדוני, הברך,
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
ברוך אדוני הברך, לעולם ועד, ברך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך עולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו, ברוך אתה אדוני, נתן את התורה.
Amen.
decided to make
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך עולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם אתה ותחינו, ברוך אתה אדוני, נתן את התורה.
Thanksgiving celebration, which also included Auntie Rose's birthday, followed by Friday breakfast at Bickford's restaurant. More pictures of the Erev Shabbat dinner at Temple Shalom Salem, and the Bar Mitzvah ceremony at the temple. The second voice you heard was Cantor Ackerman introducing the Bar Mitzvah lad at the coming of age ceremony. Stephen chants the blessings over the Torah and the maftir of the Sidra of Toldo, which tells the story of Isaac, son of Abraham. Then Stephen sings the Haftarah blessings and the Haftarah taken from the book of the prophet Malachi, chapters 1 and 2. Lastly, the former temple president Max Bell congratulates Stephen on becoming a bar mitzvah.
Vayishma Yaakov el Viviel Imo Vayach Padena Ram Vayaretz El Yishmael Vayikach Ed Machalat Vayishmael Ben Aram Achov Nevayov Al Nashav Lo Lishav Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu Torah emet V'chayei olam natan b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yamdu Amagbiya V'Agulel.
Mr. Scott Rosenthal, cousin. Mrs. Linda Mendelson, aunt, and Risa Mendelson, cousin.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה.
The reading from the prophets, the Haftarah, is found beginning on page 102.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratzah v'divreihem hane'amarim be'emet Baruch atah Adonai Haboker b'Torah Uv Moshe Avdo Uv Yisrael Amo Uv Enviei Hamet V'Sedeh Masat Dvar Adonai El Yisrael Biad Malachi Ahavti Echem Amar Adonai V'amatem V'ama Avtanu Haloach Esav Yaakov Neum Adonai V'ohav et Yaakov V'yed Esav Saneti V'asim et Arosh Shemamah V'yed Nachalat Litanot Midbar Ki tomar Edom Rushashnu V'nashuv V'nibnei Chavav Ko Amar Adonai Tzevot Hema yivnu bani eharos V'karu lahem Gevoresha
We return to our
V'yam Asher zam Adonai Adonai
prepare for
V'nechem terena V'atem tomro Yigdal Adonai Me'alifo Yisrael Bein Yechabed Avevet Adonai V'imav Ani Aye Kevodi V'em Adoni Ani Aye Mori Amar Adonai Tzvaot Lachem HaKohanim Bozeh Shemi B'matem B'mevazinu Et Shimecha Magishim HaMizbechim Lechem Egoal B'matem B'mechyanucha B'machem Shulchan Adonai Nezehu V'chi Tagishu Ivel is Boachen Ra V'chi Tagishu Pesach V'choleh Ein Ra Hakriveona V'fechatecha Hayitzcha Oh Hayisafanecha Amar Adonai Sevav V'yata Chalna Pniya V'chanenu Miechem Hayitazot Hayisa Mikem Panim Amar Adonai Sevav Mi Gambachem V'zkot Elatayim V'lo Tayirum Mizbechi Chinam En li chefes bachem Amar Adonai Tzevot Mechalo etzeh miachem Ki minizvar shemesh V'yad mevo Gado shemi Bagoyim Uv'chol Makom Mugatar Mugash Lishumi Mika Tara Higado Shemi Bagoi Amar Adonai Sevot V'atem mechalim oto v'amachem shochan Adonai v'goahu v'nivo nivzeh achlo v'amatem hine matla v'partem oto Amar Adonai Sevot Vavetem Gazov Ve'et HaPiseach Ve'et HaKoleh Vavetem Et HaMecha Ha'etzeh Otah Midyechem Amar Adonai Ve'oroch Nochel V'yesh Bedro Zachar B'nodim V'zovech Mashkat L'Adonai Ki Melech Gadol Ani Amar Adonai Sevot Ushmi Norah V'Goyim V'yata Alechem HaMitzvah Hazot HaKonim Imo Tishmeu V'imo Tasimo Alef Latei Kavod Lishmei Amar Adonai Sevot V'shilach Divachem Et HaMeirah V'oti Et Bechotechem V'gam Aratia Ki Enchem Samim Alef Hineni Goel Lachem Et Azera V'zeriti Feresh Apnechem Peresh Chagetchem V'nasarchem Elav Vidatem Ki Shachti Alechem Et HaMitzvah Hazor Liot Briti Elevi Amar Adonai Sevot Briti Hayita Ito HaChaim V'Shalom V'Adem Lomara V'Yiraeni Mipnei Shemini Chathu Torah Emet Hayata V'Fihu V'Avla Lo Nitza V'Sifata B'Shalom U'V'Meshor Halach Iti Rabim Heshif Me'avo Ki Siftei Kohen Yishmeru Dat V'Torah Yivakshu Mipihu Ki Malaka Nesvaku Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam So'al kol halamim Tzadik b'chol hadorot Haya hane'eman Homer v'yosef Hamdabir u'mkayem Shekod dvarav emet v'tzedek Ne'eman atahu Adonai Eloheinu V'ne'emanin dvarecha V'davarecha mivarecha Akol lo yeshuv rekam Ki amak ne'eman v'rakaman atah Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo
Haya hane'eman b'chol dvarav
Amen
Rachem al Tzion ki veit chayenu V'la'alu vat nefesh toshtiya B'mriat yameinu Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo
V'samech Tzion b'fanecha
Amen
Samchenu Adonai Eloheinu B'yah hanavi avdecha
Makupetavin Mishikaka, Bimherayava, Vyageli Benu, Akisolo Yesheza, Veloyakalu on Akari Mikavado, Kivishim Kachakanish Batalo, Sheloyak Bene Rolilam Van, Baruch Atadonai, Magen David,
Amen.
Alatara, Vyavoda, Vyonavim, Vyayom HaShabbat.
Let me tell you something, young man. I've watched you a long time. I watched you on the New Year's when you come in it on Saturdays. I've known your father and mother for a long time, and they are wonderful. I know me and mother. Every Simcha store, her and I have a drink together. And Mark, if it wasn't for Mark, I don't know what we'd do. He blows the shofar here at the holidays, and you never heard a person to blow the shofar that lasts as long as here. That sound takes half the service. He's wonderful. I think you've got a good background. Nobody can say anything about that. It's a wonderful background. But you do want to have a certificate of some kind, because if somebody asks you, where did you graduate from, you want to be sure it was from Temple Shalom. So you're going to have that framed and put it up into your room there. And every night when you go to bed, you're going to remind yourself of all your associates here, of the wonderful rabbi we hear, who is the most knowledgeable rabbi in the North Shore. You're going to remind yourself of Cantor Ackerman, who teaches the Haftorahs. There's nobody like him, you'll have to admit that. And your associations be good. We're very proud of you.